So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dan Thornton. I work for a company called Hughes Networks, and I'll go through what we do later on. But just having a seat at the table just a minute ago, just talking around, there's so much interesting things going on, and just listening to everybody else. Okay. I think there's a lot of discussions going on from some of the subjects we've seen already today. So if I look at sometimes a bit summarize of what's already been going on today. Do they always work? Smart world, everybody's talking about smart world. Smart devices. It used to be that who has the iPhone or who has the iPad in the office, and now who doesn't have one? I mean, most people have 2 or 3 actual smart devices that they use all the time, whether at home, in the office. Choices as well. How many choices do we all have every day? Huge amount of choice available to us now, really from using the internet. And looking at the Internet of Things or the Internet of Places is going to give us probably a bigger choice going forward. And apparently we all live busy lives, no time to do anything. Want everything today, want everything now from that side. So information, everybody wants information when they want it. The consumer wants to be empowered by making the decisions they want to make when they want to make them. But also the important thing is they want it personalized from their use. They don't want generic information just sent to them. They like the information that they want when they want, and if they don't want it, then they don't want it pushed onto them. And it's all these things that we have to start considering. I had a look on, when you go and Google, when you do a presentation, you'll always Google to see what's the latest things. And this is one slide I had a look at, and it really is what happens in 60 seconds. And you think all these things are going on. This is probably out of date as it is now. But there is so much information going on. And how do people in retail look at taking that information? Do they need all that information? But what parts of it are useful for them? So the question is, looking at retail innovation today, these are just a few questions I've put down. Every time I speak to someone new, a new question comes up on what they're looking for and everything else. But the thing is, there's more devices out there that are Wi-Fi enabled. Okay, so the question is, what do we do with, how do we work with all those devices? I presume everybody here, before they purchase anything these days, they go and check online, see what is available, check on costs, see the best place to buy it. Not everybody still buys online, though. A lot of people like going into shops, especially if they're buying bigger goods. They like to feel and touch and see things before they actually buy, but they go armed with all the information they've gathered across the internet. People expect 24-hour connectivity. You know, if I'm online, probably like lots of people here, and I go and look at something and that website doesn't work, it doesn't bother me, I just go onto another website and find the goods that I want. However, what that does affect is that company whose website you can't get onto because they've lost potential sales. Also with retail, it's very important, brand can be really affected by social media, both in a positive and negative way. Everybody likes favorites, there's Facebook, there's Twitter. If you go into a shop, a lot of people say, fantastic experience, bought this brilliant goods here. Goes to social media, loads of their friends get that information. Some of them will go back and buy that information. Alternatively, if someone says, had the worst experience I've ever had, never go to this shop again. Brand experience gets lost in all that capabilities. The other thing we're finding from retail as well, multi-brand integration. What I mean by that is there's organizations, large organizations, that have a front, but underneath those, they may have 5, 10, 15, 20 other brands they have to integrate into single systems. They need to figure out how to get that consistency across in messaging, in online, as well as in the shop. You also have to look at e-commerce coming in, PCI compliance, all these things and regulations that organizations have to comply with. they often find it very difficult with new technology coming on board, and how does that integrate into their systems? Internet of Things is going to mean there's far more data than we've ever experienced before. Question is, how much is relevant to these organizations? What do they do with it? How do they analyze it? And how do they make actual use of that as a business value proposition to them? But the other thing is, we talked about consumers and everything else. A lot of organizations now need to look at how they make staff more efficient, but also how they need to make processes, procedures more efficient and easy for everybody to use. And the Internet of Things and the capabilities of that is really going to help in those aspects. We use this as a digital retail store of the future. It may be that everybody sees this, there may be things we've missed. But if we break it down, you've got employee satisfaction. Knowledgeable staff mean happy staff, they'll sell more, they'll be more willing to go to work. You've got things like digital boards, things like break room TV. People may not think they're useful, but a lot of time in retail, you get quite a turnover of staff, or you get evening staff, or you get weekend staff. They don't always have the knowledge that everybody else does who are full-time employees. However, if a customer, or an organization rather, could get the same knowledge to everybody, so everybody had the same information, you've got a far better experience when the customer comes in. Because if they come in on a Tuesday, they speak to somebody, and they get everything they need, but they come in on Saturday to buy it, and they get a poor experience because the person doesn't really understand the same as the other people. He may not buy. In-store support. We'll look at Wi-Fi and RFIDs are really big requirements now to enable both business processes to be more efficient and customers' experience to be more advanced as well, enhanced as well. We talked about wayfinding, and I know we sat on a table. When I sat on the table, one of the biggest problems came up was queuing. Where do I go in shops? Where do I find a product? How easy can I find it? Do I have all the information I can find from there without having to wait for a staff member? How many times have you been into a shop and you look at something and think, that's really good, but I don't really understand much about it. And you look around and you try and find someone who's around you can ask, and there's no one around. So what do? Do you wait 5 minutes, or do you walk out the door? Most people walk out the door. It's a lost customer to that retail organization. The customer experience. Everybody talks about enhancing the customer experience. We're all customers at some time or other. So what's important to us? Connecting to experts, finding out about products, being able to make mobile payments these days. Mobile marketing, some people like information being pushed to them about devices, some people don't. So who do you know who likes it and who doesn't? Who are your loyal customers you want to keep loyal? Who are your loyal customers you want to be able to push new marketing information into? Discounts. Underneath it all, this is the core thing. A lot of people just forget about the connectivity. It's always there. It's always going to be there. I'm always going to get Wi-Fi. I'm always going to get mobile phones. From a retail point of view, this is one of the fundamental things they need to consider. Getting the right underlying technology right to enable all the fantastic applications, all the data gathering to make use of that. Security. A lot of people, we talk about security, and every day you can look at the news, there's been a new organization that's hacked. Even the top companies, Google, Starbucks, JP Morgan banks, across the board, there's a huge amount of people who are hacked every single day. The question is, on this side, how do you protect your business? How do the retail protect their business? Because on the security point of view, it's not what, if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen, because nothing is 100%. So the question on that side is, how soon do I know something's breached or data's gone on my customer credit cards and I can act on that? Statistics say in most organizations, hackers have been in the network for 270 days. That's 9 months before they even know someone's been in an organization. You think how much of your business information has been taken in that time? Huge amounts. If you're a small organization, it has probably a bigger impact on you as a large organization, but it still affects your brand. So there's a huge amount, if you look at retail store of the future, there's a huge amount to consider from that side. But some of these things I've talked about already, the underlying commitments, connecting the services, making it work, that is probably the biggest thing that people have to understand. What's available out there? What can you do with it? What is right for you? People want their information when they want it. It has to be reliable. Anything that goes down, 5 minutes, 10 minutes means lost business, lost customers. For instance, we're doing a lot of work with pharmacies at the moment, large pharmacy organizations. And with all the new digital prescriptions that are coming out, when a doctor does a prescription, they can automatically send it to a pharmacy, so you can go and pick it up from a pharmacy. They have their first choice pharmacist, so it goes off, goes to the pharmacy. If that pharmacist's link is down, they have a second option, goes to the second option. However, they never go back to the first pharmacy again unless the link goes down. Think how much revenue that pharmacy has lost in that time from those people. It's the same with a lot of retail organizations. People have their choice now. Personalization. Everybody wants what they want. They don't want marketing information that's not relevant to them. To a lot of the extent, the old marketing ploy where you market a product and you hope a percentage of people will buy that to cover your costs of that marketing. These days, when marketing budgets are cut, they're very tight. How do you tailor them to each individual? And the two bottom ones there is protecting the user and protecting your company, your brand. Two core things. If a user's information is found to be out into the public, then that's going to be a problem for them. And the other thing, I think it was Google recently, one of their data centers in Belgium went down, got struck by lightning. A lot of people had data on that which is lost. You know, it's a big organization, but people use their Gmail accounts and everything for storing data. If the large organizations can lose data, then anybody can lose data. So a couple of things on it. I'll talk about Wi-Fi. If you have Wi-Fi, if people have Wi-Fi, and people just think it's a connectivity service. It can be, it's far more than that now. There's inbuilt analytics, footfall information you can take from it. You can track usage of who's online. You can meet PCI requirements. So all your regulatory requirements, you can use Wi-Fi for that. Promote your brand. So all these things these days, we talk about all these new technologies, Internet of Things, fantastic going forward. But there's existing technologies that can provide a lot more services these days than people really understand. Digital media. Everybody sees digital media out on screens these days. Things have changed on that a bit, though, is that you can do zone partitioning now, time of day to your audience. So if you combine Wi-Fi and digital media, you get a footfall of people coming in. You know who's coming in, maybe what age group they are, or they're loyal customers. Then what you can do, you can use digital media to push a certain discount or product associated with those. You can take your digital media on different times of the day. So for instance, people drop their children off at school. They go shopping. You get a demographic of those types of individuals. So all your marketing on your digital screens is geared towards that. Lunchtime. Business people have lunches. They go out for an hour. You change it to focus on those people. Children come home after school, go into shops. You change it to meet their requirements. So you're changing it every single day in real time to get the best usage of all the consumers coming into your shops. But also you can use it for motivating staff, giving them more information, making sure they have all the information. A lot of staff complain that communication is really poor from the top down. They don't know what's going on within the company. They don't know what's happening. They don't know who's maybe the best employee for the month, or there's a new product coming out. Digital media in back office or back rooms can be all used to enable staff to have more information, more knowledge from that side. We talked about beacons and everything else, and RFID is very similar technology, can be seen as the same. Don't know how many come across it or how many use it, but a lot of now goods are coming with an RFID tag. It's like a little metal tag, can go on closed. You put that into a shop, and there's two things that are going to happen. From a staff point of view, they can get a scanner, go over each rack. They know exactly what's in there, what colours, what sizes. Perfect stock control. From a user point of view, they can have applications where they can go in, you can find out everything about that item, what size it is, what's it made of, would it fit me, what colour is it, and whether or not their size is in stock. If it's not in stock, you have the ability to order it. Or you can find out, you know it's not in stock, you can go and ask staff, when's it going to be available? But that then starts the whole supply chain management, makes more efficiencies within organisations. As soon as something is sold, it can be automatically sent to say, that item's been sold, need to restock that size, that colour, etc. It also enables more security. People can't walk out with certain things, or you know exactly where an item is within a store. So from a store point of view, you're maintaining your assets a lot better. So that's a general thing. From my point of view, Hughes, we started off from somebody called Howard Hughes, maybe everybody knows him, but years ago he wanted to be aeronautical and satellite and space, and we're just a remnant of one of those companies. We started off with satellite technology, and you may not think satellites used in retail. Yeah, we do the Camelot lottery. There's 30,000 satellite terminals you'll see in shops around the country running our network. The reason it's used, geographic reach, very reliable. That's what people want. Lottery can't afford networks to go down. And the hardest thing we find with retail organisations as well, there is so much technology coming in. There is so much new things. How do they integrate all that? And we help them a lot to manage all that integration from that side. We help manage multi-brand technologies as well. So there's a couple of things on there that are probably more important from a retail point of view. Connectivity is key to anything working, any application working. What we try and do is take that away from our retail organisations, because all they're interested is making money from customers effectively. So if we can take all the underlying issues away, give them the technology they can just run their services on, that's what's important to retail today. And it's finding that balance is what is right for every organisation. The key thing is there's technology available today that can be used to do that. They don't have to wait for all the new things. All these new things are fantastic to have. But the things you can do today to simplify the process. So one for our table, reducing queues. That was the biggest thing. Everywhere we go, people want to reduce queues. People want to get more revenue from customers. The more you keep them in the shop, the more you empower them, the more information you give them, the more you take away every reason not to buy, people are going to buy, unless they were in there not to buy in the first place. Consistent messaging. It has to be consistent messaging, whether online or in store. It's key to lots of people doing business. Protect your customers, again, and your brand. And the other thing is being able to inform and empower customers as well. The more empowered individuals have, the more they work around their busy lifestyles rather than being forced to live around someone else's. So that's me finished on that side. So I think next one. So.